champion in the Smirnoff, great shaper, great surfer, and he is here, the second person in that shape-off, the Icons of Foam, representing or honoring Mark Richards. He's working right now for a $1,000 first prize and his name on a perpetual Mike Marshall trophy. But we've got a special guest. Todd, would you like to do the introductions?
Yeah, Thomas Meyerhoffer, is that how I pronounce your last name?
That's correct, yeah.
And you're bringing your equipment here, obviously. Tell us a little bit about what you're showcasing here at this show.
Well, we have a kind of a broad range of boards this year. We started out by doing a longboard, which was kind of shaped like a peanut, had a negative side cut, and we did that about 5 years ago. And out of that has grown a kind of a range of shortboards. And this year we're showcasing this board, which is called the slip-in, and it basically has it's a modern pintail. So basically taking the traditional pintail and adding some performance enhancement features to it, so that you can surf it like a normal pintail, but you can also draw out your lines and kind of create such a different experience.
And how long is this board right here that you have?
This one is a 6.0.
Okay.
And we have a 6.6, we have a 7.0.
So it's a high performance board, right?
It's a high performance board, correct. But it actually scales really well, so it goes up in size too. It goes up to 7-footer, and it still adds that kind of performance even to a 7-footer, a mid-range board.
So just quickly, in looking at this board, it's very unique. I've never seen a board like this. Explain to me and the viewer out there that's watching right now what this board performs like, because I mean it starts well in front of the fin, and it's very narrow, and then it's wider, the wide point's further up. Explain to us how it performs.
Yeah, you probably surfed a single fin.
I have, not a lot, but I have.
Yeah, you remember how it feels, like the old pintail.
Yeah.
And this board basically takes all that and adds a few different things to it. First of all, it's the negative side cut in the tail. And that negative side cut, which is back here, like this, makes the tail hold much more than on a normal pintail. And the other thing is that you have less mass in the tail, so that you can move your back foot further back. And with the double concaves here, the board really grips really well. So it doesn't slip out, and you get a much more projection, and you can go more vertical. And then we sort of married that with a hull in the nose. So the board kind of goes, glides. It has a kind of a very sort of great connection to the water, like a normal hull or sort of a retro board. So the board goes from being a retro board to a high performance board. The further back you put your foot, the more aggressive it turns and the more performance you get out of the board. But you can ride it from the mid section of the board and just glide and have fun.
From a VW van to Corvette. It's up to you how you want to ride that.
Precisely. It's like one of those buttons on the dashboard you can push and you get a different sort of feeling out of the board. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create boards which gives you a slightly different feeling. I often said this, it's almost like cooking or making food. It's like, this is kind of a new type of food in a way that we're kind of mixing ingredients together to create a different experience, always making the board perform. So it always performs well, but it's kind of for the surfer who search to get kind of a different feeling. What's been really fun with this is that you see I had a pro rider ride this, and all he rides is tri-fins. And he got on this, and he came up with a giant smile, because he remembers the single fin and the pintail he'd been surfing before. And this allowed him to reconnect to that, but at the same time create kind of a more high performance type of surfing, which he usually does on his tri-fin. He can reconnect to that too. So for him, it was like he was bridging between the two and surfing the board in a different way.
Meyerhoffer Surfboards, Meyerhoffersurf.com, Montero, California, by way of Sweden. A lot of testing going on in the Caribbean. You've got a great team rider that really knows how to surf. Here's what I found out looking at your great website. Horsepill, Slip-In, Superpin, 8.1, the one. Comp 9.1 is the next level. You have something for everybody, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We do now, yeah.
Okay, so Sweden. There are some surf spots down low, but I think Norway maybe have some more waves. Where did you start surfing? What's the passion for surfing in your background?
Well, I lived in California for about 25 years now, so
you kept the accent because the girls love it.
I can speak like this too,
Oh, okay.
So, but I used to windsurf way back in Sweden and built my own windsurfing boards when I was 18, and I flew all the way to Maui to windsurf those. So for me to kind of come back to California and start surfing here was kind of natural.
Yeah, and the European way of surfing is actually windsurfing. When they say, well, I'm going surfing, it's with a sail usually, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Northern California, testing up there, Montera?
Yeah, in Montara we surf, Northern California all the way up from San Francisco all the way down to Santa Cruz, and yeah.
Wonderful. Now, is this where you're going to be able to see these boards in certain shops, or we need to contact you by way of the internet?
Yeah, the internet is much better, especially with these new models. I mean,
Better margins.
yeah, but it's much better because we're not in that many shops. We prefer to have kind of a nice little tight group of shops, and the internet is great. You can go there and look at the boards.
Now, when you do go visit his website, you will see a couple of boards that do have the shape. There is a shape like a woman's outline of a woman's body.
You can say that,
Yeah, I mean, it's hips to it.
Yeah.
Could you describe that when people check out your site and they see this kind of S shape?
Yeah, the original longboard was made basically trying to take away a lot of material from a longboard so that the board performs in a more performance way, basically. I wouldn't say a better way, because certain longboarders that prefer to have their longboard the way, just like you want the burger and fries kind of thing. But if you want to try a different longboard to make your surf a little bit different and experience, and I have a lot of shortboarders who used to shortboard at a really high level surf the longboard when they're a little bit older, because they can reconnect to that kind of performance feeling and a different kind of turning they can do.
Okay, so what I get is that with the board, with this outline, you're cranking off turns, getting in position, and then if you're going to be nose riding, it's a whole different part of the board. I mean, you really made high performance two sections of the board, and that waste is kind of a waste of time.
Correct. Waste of time. No, we really pushed each maneuver you do on the longboard, we push those further out. So when you're on the tail, you really ride it from the tail. You can really pivot around and turn, you get a lot of drive, a lot of speed, and then you can nose ride it on the mill.
Okay, are we seeing these in regular glass, epoxy? What's
we experiment with a lot of materials. This was actually a PU board. It's pretty straight up and down. It's a lot about the shape, but it's also the material. But we do everything.
And this fin right here is what? It's a very flexible 10-inch.
Yeah, this is Alex Kopp's Captain Fin company, super flexible fin, and which makes the board kind of react in a certain way and gives you a lot of traction. We actually made a fin with future fins for the Best in Show board.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, which Scott told me to remind you about, that the board won Best in Show.
Well, anything else that we forgot?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well,
yeah,
that's great.
it.
Do you speak Swedish?
I do.
So the Swedish people can communicate in your native language?
I think I still speak Swedish, yeah.
Hey, great stuff.
Thanks.
Making things happen. What do you think?
Well, I wish I could test that thing right there. It looks pretty darn fun and definitely intriguing.
You can tomorrow.
Well, we'll see if the boss will let us out in the morning.
Yep.
Thomas, thank you so much. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
You guys, coming up next, we got Lola Blake from Chick Sticks. Stay with us.